You know, for 2016, being mayor, I've told many of you, it's never been about me. I remember when my daughters came to me and they said, "Dad, we want to call Magnolia home." And I thought, I don't like what I see. I don't like my city's trashy. I have overrun properties. I have crime. Why would you say such? But for 40 plus years of my life, I remember when my daughters came to me and they said, "Dad, we want to call Magnolia home." And I thought, I don't like what I see. I don't like my city's trashy. I have overrun properties. I have crime. Why would you say such? But for 40 plus years of my life, I lived here, I worked here, but that's all I can say that I did. Shame on me. I encourage everyone that I encounter, get involved at an early age. When you're 18 and you can vote, get registered, get busy. Because we are Magnolia. Magnolia is so much more. I'm thankful for the team of people around me that believe like I do. We hear that saying all the time, we've just touched the tip of the iceberg. But it's going to take people involved to make a difference and make it happen. So it's an honor for me to be mayor. It could have been any of those five all those years ago, and I'm thankful that the people had faith in me. I know being mayor, you're not always the popular person. You know, last time 33% didn't like that. And I still work for those 33%. I want to win them over. I want them to be happy. So one time when somebody told me, they said, "Well, you've got to get 100%. Well, guess what, folks? If I didn't get 100%, I'd have never got elected. But I'm going to continue to work to make Magnolia better because my daughters want to call Magnolia home. So I tell people I'm working for my family and you are my family. So in taking care of my daughters, I take care of you. I do what I do for you. Some may not like this, but in politics, you take a pretty good pay cut from the mainstream work. So I welcome that, and I'm glad I did what I'm doing, and my family has made it just fine. Tonight, we're going to start with financials of our city. Last month, a citizen spoke up and said we were $50 million in debt. Well, that's just not true. We're $41 million. Okay? That's still a lot of money. But let me start this way. In our city, we pay 10.375 on every dollar we spend sales tax. 10.375. The state of Arkansas takes 6.5%. The county sales tax is 1.5%. The hospital sales tax is 1.375%. The economic development is 1/4%. Now, if you're doing the math, all that's left is 3/4%. So those of you that come by City Hall, there's a candy jar on my desk. I don't know how they got there, but there's these little pieces of penny that I'll give every council member. We run this city on 3/4 cent. Yes, we do get franchise fees from electric and gas and power. But when people tell me, "Oh, you have enough because you're getting 10.375, folks, we don't get that. The 1.5% of our county sales tax, and Magnolia is a part of Columbia County, generates somewhere around $400,000 a month. When that goes where it needs to go, the city gets about $21,000. So when you hear people say your sales tax is too high, we don't negotiate with the state. And I've always said the state sends us what they want us to have just to keep us quiet. If we don't go out and make it ourselves, we're not going to have it. I'll touch on health care later, but we must have health care. So we do what we do with 3/4%. Now, earlier, a question was asked of our treasurer. Our checking account currently has $542,000 in it. We like to start the year at 450. We're still in good shape. That 41.9 million breaks down this way. City General, Police, Fire, Animal Control, Parks, and City Hall. All of those employees and all of that equipment, the city owes about $1 million. And we owe that money on 2 fire trucks, one of which was an aging truck that we replaced that was 40 years old. That when we passed the sales tax in 2012, we told you what we'd do with it. That other fire truck is paid for with Act 833 money. When you pay your homeowner's insurance, there's a little bitty spot on there. You don't even realize you're paying it most of the time. If you're like me, I'm looking at that big number down at the bottom. That money can only be used for equipment, training. It pays for that fire truck. Utilities. We just heard Mr. Edstrom speak earlier to that. I looked back last year. There's been utility debt long before the prior mayor and the mayor before him. So we can go back 30 plus years on utility debt. Folks, I wish it didn't, but the city's just like your home. Things do wear out. We have bonds, and we have refinanced every bond in utilities since I've been mayor. If I could redo it again, I would. Currently, utilities owes $12.9 million. Sewer plant, sewer lines, you name it. The street department. The street department owes no money. They have no debt. We owe $28 million on a brand new hospital that I'll talk about later. But folks, if we don't have health care, we don't have a town. Look at our neighbors. No hospital, no town. You lose your school, you lose your town. So that 49 million breaks down that way. The city runs on 3 pots of money. You have street money. When you buy gasoline and diesel, you pay a little car insurance. And we know we got folks out there driving without car insurance, but that's where your street money comes from. That money cannot be mixed with anything. It can only be used for street. Utilities. If you live inside the city of Magnolia, you own the utilities. When you pay your bill each month, you own utilities. So when people call me and they're unhappy about their water bill, I tell them, let's gather up the other 11,732 customers, and let's all sit down and decide if we're going to waive your bill or not. Because we all own it. That's a pot of money. That money cannot be used for anything but utilities. And then city general. That's a pot of money. Again, that's your police, fire, parks, animal control, city hall. So there's where your monies are at. If there's ever a question about your money, come and see your city treasurer. We'll give you copies of whatever you want. We're glad for you to know where your money's being spent. This year, the Magnolia Airport, first time in I have no idea when, ran without a single tax dollar. It ran on the fuel it sold and made a profit. I credit the airport commission. I credit our FBO, Candy Drake, for her hard work. And I've always said, jobs don't come on the bus, folks. They come by air. So our visitors look at us from the air. Candy does a great job out there. And this year, in 2017, we're going to install a $400,000 runway lighting system, all with a grant, no cost to you. In 2016, we completed the AWAS weather system. I'm not a big flyer, but I know I need jobs in my town and people spending money, so I'm an airport freak. That AWAS system tells that pilot miles away what the weather's doing in Magnolia, Arkansas. We have lost fuel sales because the weather was not right and they had to fly to El Dorado to land. That happens no more. that's a little about our financials and our airport. We're gonna talk about our fire department. In 2016, the fire department, we bought them a 3/4 ton Dodge pickup that's next door. Our firemen were going on fires, and if you've ever seen a fireman come out of a house with his nasty gear on that was clean when he went in, that all gets put in somebody's personal vehicle. We use this truck to haul all the dirty gear back. We get it in, the guys get it clean, get it charged up, and get it ready to go. I made myself a note here, and I hope that Chief Penner will agree. I don't know that the Magnolia Fire Department has ever seen the quality of equipment that they have to work with as they do now. I credit this council, I credit Chief Penner, his men. It took us 6 years to get there. But I hope I'm never in a burning house and I need those men to come and get me. But I can promise you, if you need them, they're there. Here's some little things they do. They sponsor 2 blood drives this year. They work yearly with Circle of Friends to raise funds. Something I started, and I'm very proud of these men, as I am the police department. They go and have lunch at our schools. Every Thursday you can find a policeman or a fireman having lunch at our schools. I've always said our kids know it before it happens, and you might as well get them young and let's teach them the way that they should go. The Magnolia Fire Department has started working with the city on cleaning of lots. They're always there to help clean with the Blossom Festival. They install free smoke alarms to homeowners. If you call, they come out and install it. They don't give it to you, they come out. So if your house isn't clean, don't call them, they're coming. Each year, Rodney Rowe calls myself and Chief Penner, we ring the bell for Salvation Army. The firemen are always there. I'm always in the parking lot watching them. There's nothing like watching a child go up to a fireman or a policeman. If you haven't ever watched that, take time next time. This year, they rescued a few cats and a few drones. So the Magnolia Fire Department's been busy. I'm proud of those guys and what they do. Keep up the good work. City Inspector. City Inspector in 2017 will continue. And he is on a rampage right now, folks, on cleaning up houses. You know, when we started in 2011, I'm sure there were folks that talked about us and thought we were nuts, but we cleaned up 80, 90 plus properties. Sadly, some of those folks that were on board back then that we cleaned up have let their properties grow back up, and we're back on them. I don't know if they'll be as nice this time. But when I hear our economic developer talk about people looking at us as a prospect, they come in when we're asleep or we're in church. They don't knock on the mayor's door and take me around town. They don't knock on her door. They look at our city before we ever know they're here. So the next time someone throws litter out the window of your car, remind them that that doesn't keep Magnolia beautiful. We've got to always be prepared. So we're moving cars. We're still working on those green trash cans to get back up to the house. There is a city ordinance that once your trash has been picked up, you move it back. But I did speak with the inspector today. I believe he told me 8 letters went out today on properties. And, you know, as I told a citizen today, and I've been in the last probably year, I'll tell you, squeaky wheel gets the grease. Boy, that was the wrong thing to say. Because these folks are squeaking, but I'm proud to take the calls. Wheels of Lady Justice do move slow. We have to go through the proper paperwork. And I want to thank the Greg Bennett Company. They've worked with the city since day one to help us identify property owners. Just today I received notification. We thought we were working with the property owners. It turns out we're not. So, city inspector's going to stay at that. Chief Maxwell in the Magnolia Police Department. Chief, I hope you don't get in trouble for this, but I think you probably got the best department we've had since I've been elected mayor. The men and women that work for you now. Folks, we have a group of men and women in the Magnolia Police Department that care about us, that want to protect us, that want to keep us safe. In 2011, young mayor, 30 days old, I'm not even going to say wet behind the ear. I didn't know what to say at the state of the city. So what I said was, the Magnolia Police Department needs to be moved because it's outgrown its current spot, it's overcrowded, you know, just whatever I was told at that time. What I have watched the last 6 years, we shouldn't ask anyone to work in those conditions. We can't just throw evidence away. We have to keep evidence until you've exhausted all your resources. It's time that the Magnolia Police Department be moved. This council has saved our money. This council has made a good deal, and we have the money, and I will be coming to this council in the next 60 days, and I will present a way that the Magnolia Police Department can move to an existing property that we own. We're not gonna have to buy anything. We own it, it's ours. And we can rehab that property, and we can move our police department where they have the room and they have the resources to continue serving us in the coming years. The decisions that you guys have made to buy equipment for this department has made all the difference in the world in the attitudes, and I'm gonna come to you with a simple plan, and the money's in the bank, and we can do this. We won't have to go out to bonds, and we won't have to borrow. I was notified just a few months ago that Magnolia, Arkansas is the 5th safest city in Arkansas to live. Number 5, folks, for our population. I'd love to take credit, but credit goes to that man sitting right back there and his team. So we have something there that we can hang our hat on. Each year, I started last year, and I know the guys thought I was crazy, but we take a bouncy house and we go into a problem neighborhood, we set up a grill, and we get drinks, and we invite kids in the neighborhood to come out and meet the men and women of Magnolia Police Department. Sadly, we don't know what our children are told about fire and police, but I know I'm glad they're on our team. We're gonna continue to do that. Last year, West Stockwell at S&S Home Center and the young lady that owns Mountain Trucking, they went together and they bought big Yeti ice chests that are in the back of the trucks. We have sponsors for water and drinks. Our officers go into our neighborhoods, they go into our parks, and I'm sure kids are scared when the officer says, hey, come here and get a cold drink of water. But I can't think of a greater thing that our men and women can do. So my hats off to patrol and the relationships that they're building with our young people, our old people. I'm old, I can talk about us. But I'm just thankful for them. You know, our Parks Department last year, we had a change in the director in the parks. Has done an outstanding job. But Representative David Fielding has made an impact in Southside Park. Representative Fielding brought funds to us, and we were able to replace backboards. We were able to build an awning, cut some old pine trees that were a problem. Representative Fielding has truly been a friend to Magnolia as long as I've been mayor, and I want to thank him for those funds. The Advertising and Promotion Commission last year put a roof on the pool house. Councilman Farah has a background in problems, and he told me real quick, we have a big problem here. So A&P, wherever you're at, thank you. We hosted the summer swim state championship this year. We had folks everywhere. I think that was just a little taste of what's to come. So I want to thank those folks for helping where they did. We heard a little bit tonight about wastewater from Bob. You know, we're producing an organic compost that has taken off. It's still just a little on the slow side, but it's getting there. We sell that in the bulk rate. If you show up with whatever you can haul, it's $50 a ton. And we have the big 2,500-pound sacks, and we sell it for $70. As we spoke earlier, we spent about $50,000 this year on a smoking machine and a tracking system, so we know what's under our streets. And our wastewater sewer lines are in our streets. We have checked all the streets that we've currently paved, so we don't have to cut a brand new street. Now sadly, the other day, the gas company came through, and that was one that they had not gotten theirs out of, and they did cut it. But we're gonna go back and get it with hot mix and make it look new when they finish. So we're still checking our lines. You know, thus far this year, Russell has found somewhere just back of $50,000 in problems. We've been able to address those. We've not gone out and bought money, and we've fixed our problems. Our goal in 2017 with wastewater, under our administrative order, we've got to deal with our sewer pond on Highway 371, and we've not used that pond in a number of years. All of our sludge comes inside the plant. We will, if we have a drought, in August, September, go to work on that pond. We want to get that pond back to its original depth, and that pond will be used to catch rainwater, and it will also work in, with our water treatment plant. As I said earlier, DEQ and EPA, we do what they tell us we're going to do. So we're going to continue to work with them. I will say that when I got here in 2011, Russell hauled me up there, and that was the scariest I've ever been. There was probably 20 of them and 2 of us, but I will say there's a good crew of people there right now that I'm working with. They want to help us, so I'm excited about that direction. Water side of utilities, as you know, a number of years ago, we started collecting bills, water and gas bill, and electricity. We're able to buy a new pickup for the city each year without taxpayer money. Now, we did not buy that pickup this year because we didn't need it, so that money just rolls back over. But when it was all said and done, it was to the tune of $16,210.60, and we'd get that at 35 cents at the time. Water sales were down slightly in 15. You know, we never know if it's a dry year, a drought year. We did replace 207 water meters. We're on top of our water, our meters, our lines. We're not letting product get down the ditch. One thing I don't like to see, I checked the other day, a young man was working on a swimming pool. I was afraid we had a water leak. So we're still collecting bad debt, and folks do leave us with bad debt. It cost us about $5,000 to get that bad debt. I want y'all to get up with me.
Thank you.
We have discussed what the utilities owe. Robert has a good group of people. City Hall, you come in, you see and you meet friendly faces. Our young ladies are glad to be of service to you, so I encourage you to come by, call if you have a question. First or the third's always kind of wild, so if you don't meet us on the first or third, I can't promise you how happy they'll be that day. But utilities is good, folks. You know, clean drinking water is a must. You know, we can do without some luxuries in life, but we must have water to stay alive. You call us, we'll work with you. We do get that unhappy person that feels like there's a discrepancy on their water bill. We reread, we find. We don't just hang the phone up. We want you to be happy because you are our customers. Street Department, first time in, I'm going to say the history of our city, I'll stand corrected, that we've ever embarked on this many miles of paving of city streets. Council, my phone has rang off in a good way. People are happy with the decisions that y'all made. Our goal is 25 plus miles. Each council member had a say in the streets that were paved. Yes, as I told Councilman Moore earlier, many people have called. I have a list of 6 streets on my desk if there's any leftover money. You know, we've never been able to do this much at one time. The street department continues to keep our ditches mowed, keep our roadways clear. One tree fell Friday night and nobody knew about it. Dispatch calls, the tree's up and gone. Very seldom does traffic stay closed when a tree does fall. Street department is on call 24/7. Those guys are here for us. We'll continue, even though we're doing all this paving, we will patch our potholes. We're currently building shoulders. A couple of years ago, this council bought a new skid steer with attachments. We are just now getting where we can get to the shoulders, we're building shoulders around streets where our new paving will be with us. So the street department has always been able to budget and work and have leftover monies each year. And this year, some of that money went into paving. So those guys are real good at watching their money. You know, goals for 2017, last year we talked about the aquatics, water park, multi-purpose baseball, softball complex. I know it's been quiet for about 45 days, and I know some have thought, well, that's going away, but that's just not true. We must have quality of life. I want to say thank you, first of all, to the young people 62 and above. They blazed a trail in this city 30, 40 years ago for us to follow. But I also want to say thank you to that 30, 40-something group. I've waited 6 years for you to speak up, speak out, and get involved, and this year you did just that. This young group would like to see a change in our largest employer in the city of Magnolia, which is Southern Arkansas University. They'd like to see what we know as North Jackson, as the state knows Arkansas Highway 355, go under a change. I embrace that because if the young people 62 and above don't let the 30, 40-somethings make their way in this town, they will make their way out of town. Years ago, the young people 62 and above made Magnolia what they wanted it to be. Now it's time that we let the 30, 40-somethings make it what they want to be. I say this all the time. Where are your kids? Will they come home? And why? And you need to think about it. Because if the 30, 40-somethings are not allowed to make their way in Magnolia, listen, folks, God didn't tell us how long we had on this earth. When the young people pass away, that 30, 40-something group doesn't know what to do because we've never let them do it. Let's follow through with this and let's make a better Magnolia. I did receive the feasibility study on, as I like to call the project. I did send this out to the council. We will be setting a day next month. I spoke with Michelle West, who has done the study. She will be in town next month. We'll hear from 3 of our citizens. One is our soon-to-be retiring state baseball coach, David Sisson. Robert Dotson is a restaurateur, Chicken Express. And Miss Retail herself, Jennifer Hubbard. We're going to hear from the study. We're going to hear from 3 leaders in our community, the impact that this could have. Many of us will probably never stick our toe, put our toe in the water of that pool. Many of us will probably never step up to home plate. But I'm going to take you back to that 3/4 of a cent. The city's probably never going to get a pay raise to 1 penny or 1 point anything. We're probably going to live on that 3/4 cent. Let's just grow our income and we get more 3/4 of a cent. So I beg you to not be negative to our city. The city's been good to us all, or we wouldn't still be here. I go back. I wish everyone loved me. You don't have to, but am I doing my job? Am I leading a better Magnolia? If I'm not, next year there's an election. But as long as I sit here, I will fight for Magnolia. I will not play politics. If it doesn't benefit all of Magnolia, don't bring it to me. It's not about a few of us. It's about all of us. The Garber Project study is still in the works, folks. Magnolia's going to change the way we look. This study that this council approved, a $70,000 payment to, you know, when James comes back, I know we're not going to like it because it's change. But let me say this, if we don't change, folks, we die. We can't stay the same. So, let's be prepared for that. Now, I was laughed at when I said this. I'm hopeful that phase 1 of our $85 million highway project's complete this year. I heard the voice of Magnolia before he left town say, Last time a highway job came through was 1969. I know it's a little inconvenient, but folks, we're gonna be so much better off when it's complete. And $85 million is getting spent in Columbia County. That would not have been without the city of Magnolia stepping to the plate. We worked with the highway department, we got them off that $1 million cost to relocate. As Bob was told today, our payment is $50,000 a year, interest free. Just so the highway department can hear, we can pay that as long as we need to. We're gonna keep adding sidewalks in our city. The TAP grant is a great thing for the highway department. It's an 80-20 grant, and it's been wonderful to our town thus far. We'll complete phase 2. In 11, we started phase 1 of the sidewalk from east side to what we know is the Magnolia J.C. building. We'll take that sidewalk this year to Calhoun Street. So a big portion of Ward 1 and Ward 2 will be under sidewalk. And a lot of folks walk that street. In 2017, we're going to continue cleaning houses and property. I've always said if you can't run crime out, you can clean crime out. I'll continue to work with the Magnolia Public School System, Southern Arkansas University, Columbia Christian School, to bring better education to Magnolia. Mayor, what do you know about education? Well, one, I have one from Magnolia High School, and I'm thankful for that. And whatever these leaders need from this city, they'll get it. And I encourage you, get involved. We just had a 5A state basketball tournament. The numbers came back that we had a 50 to 75% increase from the retailers that were talked to. One of our retailers did 100+% of their normal this time of year. And that was just a basketball tournament. Motels were full, town was full. Can you imagine once the project is on the ground, and every 3 weeks we do that? Our goal is to play a baseball tournament, a softball tournament, not to mention swim meets. We swim year-round. We'll have an indoor water park, so moms with little children, if you're in November and a birthday party, we've got you covered. We're gonna stay wet 12 months out of the year. I can't imagine the dollars that this city will be talking about once that happens. And let me say this about the project. That's a $15 million improvement that we can go to. But I assure you, I will not lead this city down a path if it's not beneficial to all of us. Because I've said to some of you, long after I'm gone, I still live here. This is my home, I'll die here. I don't want to be referred to as, that's the guy. So that's not going to happen. The feasibility study's back. We'll talk about it next month. We'll have our last town hall meeting in April. And then we're going to hit the streets with our campaign, and we'll go into a vote of the people in October if nothing happens. Must-dos in 2017 for Magnolia to continue to move forward. Jobs and healthcare. I sit on the Magnolia Economic Development Corporation board. We've had economic development in our city 20 years. We have a no sunset on the quarter-cent tax that goes to fund that. We've had 4 directors. I'll say it behind her back, and I'll say it to her face. I think she has done more for us than the 3 before her wrapped up. But she can't do it alone. The board must help her. The board must make phone calls. We must get involved. More than just meeting once a month and having lunch and talking about it. Cammie and I met with an attorney in Little Rock this week. I'm told the governor has signed or will sign Senate Bill 581, which will change the way a lot of communities do economic development, including ours. So the MEDC team must move this year. I said to the board in January at our annual meeting, they've never had the lion's share of the money. This year they do. but we must see something from them, because this board decides who they will contract with on economic development. I think after 20 years, we have sustained jobs, we have brought jobs. I think we've all probably said we know that the 2 and 3 and 5 and 1,000 jobs are not coming, but we don't know that. We've got to be prepared. Who would have thought that a pink alert would be issued at Magnolia Regional Medical Center? But it was, and they reacted, and we won. So we must be prepared. Healthcare. Without a hospital, we don't have a town. I've had more calls this year about our hospital than I have in the last 6 years I've been mayor. The hospital commissioners that I appoint or reappoint work with our new CEO. He was chosen by them to put us back in the black. And we've been in the red far too long. He has my full support. Whatever I can do, I will do. I encourage this council to do. The few calls I had, Mayor, you've got to do something. The mayor's role on the hospital commission is I'm an ex officio. I get to have lunch and I get to ask questions, but I don't get to vote. And I told him that. But I have full faith in our new CEO that he will do just what he said he will do. And I know that he's going to get us going in the right direction. And we're going to get some debt paid off down at that hospital. Because again, I say, we've been red too long, it's time we go black. So, encourage anyone you know to use our hospital. It is funded by 1.375 tax base, some of which is upkeep and maintenance, some of which is the payment to the property. We can have anything we want, folks, we just have to ask for it. That concludes the state of the city tonight.